So friends, very good afternoon and welcome to our lecture of concrete technology. We are into a very important topic of the strength of concrete. Three basic properties of the concrete I am being telling you again and again. That is the strength, that is the workability and the durability. And all these three basic qualities of concrete work hand in hand. Means there is no separate precaution needed to be taken to increase the strength. There is no separate precaution needed to be taken to increase the workability. There is no separate precaution needed to be taken to increase the durability. If we follow certain basic rules from the ingredient of the concrete, that is the selection of ingredient of the concrete, to the final curing of the concrete, then we will definitely achieve all these three parameters with very less efforts. So we are into these three things. We are into the one that is the that is the strength of the concrete. We have seen in our earlier lecture the various factors which affect the strength of concrete. We will see the very important factor which affects the strength of concrete. That is the curing condition or the curing of the concrete. We have we know what is the necessity of curing, because during the hydration of the cement in the concrete, it being the exothermic reaction, it emits the heat. Due to that emission of heat, the water that is at the most 38% by weight of the cement may get evaporated or lost, and due to this evaporation or losing of the water, the strength of the concrete will be lost, the durability of concrete will be reduced. So to control or to resist this loss of water due to the heat of hydration, we adopt certain procedures called as the curing of the concrete. So curing of the concrete is done by providing a procedure wherein the water from the concrete is not allowed to be evaporated or lost, either by spraying or sprinkling the cold water, either by sprinkling or spraying the vapor of the water or the water vapor, or by application of certain films over the hardened concrete, like the curing compound, like certain plastic films, like certain jute bags, etc. Okay. So therefore, the curing conditions matter very much onto the strength, because if water is lost, strength will be lost. So therefore, the atmospheric conditions, like the time, that is the daytime or the night time, the temperature, atmospheric temperature, we are seeing the temperature, ideal temperature needed for curing of concrete is 27 degrees Celsius. We try to maintain that. And the atmospheric humidity, all these are very much affect to the curing of the concrete. And if insufficient curing is being done or no curing is being done, then definitely there will be cracks in the concrete, there will be voids in the concrete due to the evaporation of water, cracks into the concrete due to the shrinkage of the cement and the concrete, and the concrete will be porous, or the porosity of this hydrated cement paste depends on the degree of cement hydration. So therefore, the three parameters, that is the time, the vapor or the atmospheric vapor, and the atmospheric temperature, affects the hydration process. Therefore, they are the important parameters to be considered, because more the atmospheric temperature, the more will be rate of hydration, more will be rate of gain of the strength, but at the same time, more will be loss of the water from the hydration process, from the evaporation. So therefore, to compensate for the atmospheric temperature, we need to create a humidity at the concrete surface, either by cold water spraying or by spraying the water vapor. That is increasing the temperature, but at the same time providing the water vapor at the concrete surface so that no water will be lost. So curing is very, very important parameter, as I have been telling you again and again, for the overall health of the concrete. Okay, that is the strength and the durability, because curing is after the concrete is hardened. Okay, after the cement started setting. So now friends, will be moving on to the next part of this strength unit, that is the failure modes in concrete. As we have seen, strength means the resistance to failure. When we apply certain loads to the concrete, the stresses are produced in the concrete. Maybe a compressive stress, maybe a tensile stress, maybe a flexural or shear stress. So due to this application of these loads or the forces, and due to the creation of the stresses, how the concrete fails or how the cracks are produced in the concrete, that we'll be trying to understand now. We know, friends, there are voids inherent. I have told you that the concrete has got inherent or inborn micro hair cracks at the transition zone in the concrete. And unfortunately, if more water cement ratio is used, if lesser curing is done, then the voids are also created in the concrete. So these voids created due to improper concreting methodology, as well as the cracks which are inherent or inborn, very micro cracks at the transition zone. These both are responsible for the failure of the concrete. Okay, for the cracking of the concrete. The failure modes or the failure style under the stress is very difficult or complex to understand, and it varies with the type of stress. Means whether the stress is a compressive stress, whether the stress is a tensile stress, whether the stress is a shear or the flexural stress. I will again repeat, friends, you must up till now, from the strength of materials or from the your first semester or second semester's engineering mechanics, you must have understood the meaning of the stress. We as a civil engineer, we know that our structures like the buildings, bridges, etc., are applied or are capable of the taking external loads, like its own weight, that is called as the dead load, like the live load, that is movement of the vehicles or the human or animal over the structure, or certain wind loads, etc., air or earthquakes, etc. These loads are applied to the structures. So these are called as the loads. Okay. Now what is the stress now? The resistance to these loads created in the structure is called as the stress. Okay. And what is strength? It is the maximum stress. It is the maximum stress or the capacity of that structure or of that material of which the structure is made, that maximum stress before failure, before cracks is the strength. Okay. So the what we are trying to learn now, that the failure modes in the concrete, that how the concrete fails under these various loads or under the various stresses. That is the compressive stress when is produced when compressive load is applied. The tensile stress is produced when the tensile load is applied, and the flexural or the shear stress when the bending or the shear load is applied. Okay. So first we will try to understand the tension or the tensile stress or the failure of the concrete under tensile load or the tensile stress. What happens? The As I have told you, the concrete has got inborn or inherent. I am using two words: inborn or inherent or original, you can say. Before the application of the stress, it has got inborn, inherent or original micro hair cracks in the transition zone. Okay. In the transition zone of the concrete, the transition zone, I have told you day before yesterday, is the zone or is the location between the aggregate and the cement and water paste. It is the region or it is the place between the aggregate and the cement and water paste. Between that there is a very micro location, very micro, it can be observed below the microscope. That location or region or the zone is called as the transition zone. As the aggregate absorbs the water from the cement water paste, there is more water or moisture at the aggregate surface. Due to this, the water cement ratio at the aggregate surface is more, and due to more water cement ratio, there are more chances of the shrinkage of the cement paste at the aggregate surface of the concrete. Due to this shrinkage of the cement paste, due to more water cement ratio at the surface of the aggregate, there are more chances of formation of micro cracks at this transition zone. This is one of the cause. And the second is due to more water cement ratio at the aggregate surface. This water gets evaporated with setting of the cement, and this evaporated water creates the voids near the surface of the aggregate, that is at the transition zone. So therefore these two things, that is the micro hair cracks and the voids, are inborn, produced at the transition zone. Okay. These are not created due to the application of the loads, but they are already there as the concrete becomes hard. I think you have understood. Okay. So due to these two things, only what we can do, we can reduce the voids in the concrete or at the transition zone. We can reduce these micro hair cracks at the transition zone by the use of lesser and lesser water. So therefore the importance of the water cement ratio. So this inborn micro hair cracks, when a tensile load is applied, when the tension is applied to the concrete, the inborn micro hair cracks as well as the inborn voids in the concrete, they also get stretched. And when they get stretched, these micro hair cracks already there, they again get elongated, and these already existing cracks extends into more length, or these cracks are, you can say, again become more and more in size with the application of the tensile force, and therefore the concrete is more brittle or fails earlier due to the tensile force or due to the tensile load. Or we can say the concrete has got lesser tensile strength or lesser tensile stress. Okay, so concrete is weak in tension. ऐसा हम शॉर्ट में बोलते हैं कि the concrete is in weak in tension. But in compression, when the compressive force is applied to the concrete, the compression does not increase these already inborn hair cracks, or not extends these air cracks. On the contrary, it compresses these cracks already there. So whatever cracks that will produce in the concrete will be due to the compressive load application, due to the failure of the cement and water hardened paste, its strength, as well as failure of the aggregates, but not due to the extension of the cracks. Okay, may fail due to the voids in the concrete. So therefore, what we can say, that concrete is good in compression, means more load it is needed for concrete to fail in compression. The concrete fails in compression due to the shear stress, due to the lower shear strength, because when the load is applied either from the top or from the bottom, or the concrete is compressed, what will happen? At the surface, this total load is distributed over the surface of this concrete, either from the top or from the bottom, and this load is distributed over the concrete member. The concretes which is at the surface, at the side surface of this member, maybe a cube or maybe any cylinder or any structural member, at the surface, the whole surface area resists this applied compressive load. But as we move away from the surface, either from the top or from the bottom, the distribution of the load or the area of the distribution goes on decreasing. Means load quantity is more, but distribution area is less. Therefore, at the surface, outer surface of this concrete member, the concrete material fails or cracks in shear. Means its shear strength is less as compared to the applied load, and the concrete member fails more away from the surface, as can be seen here. The concrete member fails more away from these two surfaces. Therefore, if you observe the failed concrete cube or the cylinder, it is intact at these faces where the load is applied, but it fails or cracks more away from the surface. Okay, I think you must have understood the failure of the concrete due to the shear strength. The shear strength is weaker away from the surface, but at the surface, more surface area is available for the distribution of this compressive load, and therefore the failure is less at the surface, but the failure is more away from the surface due to the lower shear strength due to the lower bond strength away from the surface. Therefore, the concrete fails more away from the surface, as can be seen here or as can be seen in the cylindrical core. Overall, what we are trying to understand? We are trying to understand the failure modes of the concrete, how the concrete fails. Okay, so this is the basic failure mode in compression as well as in tension. Okay, you look at these extended or expanded photographs. Here you can see at the surface the concrete is intact due to application of the compressive load, but as we move away from the surface there is a failure. The concrete cracks in this way. If we put this concrete cube in the compression testing machine and we observe the failure, we will always find that the concrete fails at the center more as compared to the surface, only because as we move away from the surface area per unit load is lesser as compared to the surface area available at top and bottom of this member. Therefore, this is the overall failure of the concrete that we can understand. So this is the concrete failure, concrete mode failure we can see. I think everybody of you have understood to certain extent that how the concrete fails or the failure mode of concrete. Okay. Now we will move on to the another property of the concrete or another strength of the concrete, that is the impact strength. We have seen the three strengths: the compressive strength, the tensile strength, and the flexural strength. And we have seen or tried to understand the failure modes also, how the concrete fails in compression, how the concrete fails in tension. Okay, in tension it fails, it is more brittle. Brittle means, in Marathi or Hindi we say brittle means tissued. It is more brittle in tension. टेंसाइल फोर्स अप्लाई करने के बाद में कंक्रीट जल्दी फूट जाता है, जल्दी टूट जाता है. बट इट इज गुड इन कॉम्प्रेशन, बिकॉज in compression it is not that much brittle as compared to the tensile force. Why? Because in tension already existing cracks at the transition zone as well as voids in the concrete, they get extended due to the application of the tensile load. Those cracks get elongated, widened, and then ultimately results into earlier failure of the tensile load as compared to the compressive load, for more compressive load, because in compression these inherent cracks does not get extended, on the contrary they get compressed. But the concrete fails in two ways in compression. First is due to the shear failure at the surface of the concrete. It is more as we move away from the application of the load. It is less at the surface of the application of the load. And the second failure is due to the bond strength. If the bond strength is more, the compressive strength will be more. Bond means bond between the cement water paste, that is one of the bond. सीमेंट वाटर पेस्ट हाइड्रेट होने के बाद में उसमें जो बॉन्ड है, उसमें जो ताकत है, वो एक बॉन्ड हो गया. दूसरी बॉन्ड स्ट्रेंथ है दो एग्रीगेट के बीच में, बिटवीन टू एग्रीगेट्स द पेस्ट, सीमेंट एंड वाटर पेस्ट एक्ट एज ए एडिजिव, act as a favicol, it acts as a binder material to hold these two aggregates together in the concrete and makes a bond between two aggregates. So this is the bond strength. To resist this or to break this bond between the two aggregates, we need certain force, we need certain load. That load is the compressive load, and if that load is more compared to the bond strength, then the concrete will fail, then the concrete will crack. So concrete fails in compression in two ways, that is by shear failure. Shear means resistance to the application of the force due to friction, due to the friction between two aggregates or the cement and the water, cement and the aggregate particles. इसमें जो फ्रिक्शन रहता है उसके कारण जो फेल्यूर होता है, फ्रिक्शन यदि ज्यादा है तो फेल्यूर होने के चांसेस कम है, फ्रिक्शन यदि कम है, शियर बोलते हैं उसको, तो फिर एग्रीगेट और कंक्रीट फेल होगा. और दूसरा बॉन्ड, बॉन्ड पक्का है तो लोड ज्यादा लगेगा, फेल्यूर लेट होगा. फूटेगा तो सही, क्योंकि जैसे जैसे लोड बढ़ाएंगे वैसे वैसे इट विल रीच टू इट्स मैक्सिमम वैल्यू एंड देन it will fail. But that is the overall failure mode of the concrete in tension and the compression, and combination of these two, that is the tension and combination, results for the flexural failure, that is for the bending failure. बेंड होने के बाद में जो कंक्रीट को दरारें आती है, क्रैक्स आती है, वो ये इन दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन है, that is the failure in tension as well as failure in compression. I think friends, you must have understood to certain extent. This is the basic things. Now we will move on to the impact strength. We know that the concrete is used in pile foundation, that is in the piles, in certain structures. And you will learn slowly what are the pile foundations, etc. So the piles, we use the concrete to drive these piles into the soil. जमीन के अंदर ये पाइल ठोकने के लिए, अंदर घुसाने के लिए उसको ऊपर से हैमर से ठोकना पड़ता है, बड़े बड़े हैमर रहते हैं. These piles are driven into the foundation or into the soil by hammering certain heavy load. Okay, so the concrete is subjected to impact load in addition to the compression and the tensile load. Okay, I think you must be understanding now. That is called as the impulsive loading or the impact loading. As well as you must have noticed that due to certain accident, maybe a road accident or maybe a certain accident in the building, if the road accident is there, the vehicles etc. jump after the accident and they fall over that concrete road surface or on the bridge and creates an impact over the concrete member. So the concrete member, which is maybe in the foundation or maybe in the roads और मे बी अदर फ्लोरिंग, जैसा रनवे है तो रनवे में कंक्रीट का रनवे बनाया जाता है एरोप्लेन का. When the aeroplane lands, it creates a very heavy impact over the runway. So the runway, which is made up of the concrete, must have that resistance to sustain this impact load. Okay, I think you must be understanding. The concrete should be strong enough to have this impact, maybe either in the piles or maybe certain accidents, maybe accident on the road or maybe certain falling of certain material over the building etc. or maybe certain runways etc. So the concrete, or sometimes while we move the precast concrete members from one place to another, like the beams or the girders in these metros, they are casted at one place, pre-stressed members, and they are transported and placed at another place. During this transportation, the material may fall somewhere or maybe put to certain impulsive load or impact load. Therefore the concrete must have this property of the impact resistance or impact strength. Okay, Now, on what this impact strength of the concrete is dependent, or whether there is any relation to the impact strength or the compressive strength, that we will try to understand. As the concrete is being heterogeneous or made up of the different materials, always and also from place to place, its ingredients, though common, cement, aggregate, and the water, but their properties change. Means the concrete made up of ingredients at Bhandara, at Chandrapur, at Nagpur, at say Chikaldara, though its ingredients are the same, but the aggregate at these locations will be different, depend on the sources available there, depends on the rocks available there. Also cement from various factories we use ACC cement, L&T, all the Reliance cement and various types of the cement. Water is also different at with the various places, quality of water I mean to say. So therefore we can say the concrete is a heterogeneous product. So therefore there is no exact relation we can formulate between the compressive strength and the impact strength. Means we cannot say that concrete is of M15 grade. Again recall, M15 means mix whose compressive strength is 15 Newton per mm square. Again 15 denotes the characteristic compressive strength. Okay, I think during your vacations or during your holidays or after our lecture, you must be going through the notes and trying to recall the things and not coming freshly to the class and again listening to the things like the picture story. Okay, otherwise you will not understand what I am trying to tell you. So therefore we cannot have exact correlation between the compressive strength and the impact strength. यानी compressive strength यदि M15 है तो impact strength कुछ तो भी M5 रहेगी, M10 रहेगी, ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते आप. हाँ, ऐसा जरूर बोल सकते हैं कि यदि कंक्रीट की compressive strength यदि ज्यादा है, if the strength of the concrete is more, if the concrete is M20, M25 or the M30 strength, then we can say it is more good in impact strength as compared to concrete made up of the M15 strength. That we can say. Okay. So this relation we can say, but we don't have any mathematical correlation between the compressive strength and the impact strength. More compressive strength, we can say it can withstand more number of the repeated blows or more absorb energy. Okay. So therefore more compressive strength, we can say more impact strength. Or it can reach to the no rebound condition before getting it damaged. Therefore higher the compressive strength, more will be its impact strength, that is lower the energy absorption per blow before cracking, but greater number of blows to reach no rebound. Okay. In short, more compressive strength, more impact strength. Hence the impact strength and total energy absorbed by the concrete increase with its compressive strength, and therefore with age. Means with the time the compressive strength increase, therefore more will be its impact strength. Also it has been found by study that when the concrete member is connected with water, means when the concrete member is say of the or the concrete is of the dam or certain water tank, or the concrete is connected with the water for the maximum time, then its impact strength is less as compared to the concrete member which is in the dry condition. है ना, जैसे कंक्रीट का रोड है तो उसकी इम्पैक्ट स्ट्रेंथ ज्यादा रहेगी, वही ग्रेड का कंक्रीट यदि डैम में बना है, वही ग्रेड का कंक्रीट यदि एलिवेटेड वाटर टैंक यदि उसी ग्रेड के कंक्रीट से बना है, तो लेकिन क्योंकि पानी के टाकी में क्या है, वो 12 ही महीने 24 घंटे पानी के साथ में रहता है. डैम में या धरण में क्या है, इट इज कनेक्टेड विद द वाटर, so its impact strength will be less as compared to the same grade of the concrete but used in the dry conditions like the roads or any flooring, etc. So this is one of the finding. For the same compressive strength, the impact strength is greater. For greater, it has also been found that the concrete made with coarser aggregate of greater angularity and surface roughness has got more compressive strength. Means the surface texture of the aggregate also matters to the compressive strength as well as impact strength. Means the factors which affects the compressive strength also affects the impact strength. Rougher surface, rough texture, that is of the angular or the crushed aggregate, more will be compressive strength, more will be impact strength. Okay, so impact strength of concrete is more closely related to its flexural strength. It has also been found that the bending strength is also related to the impact strength. It has been found that more the flexural or bending strength as compared to compressive strength, impact strength is more. It has also been found that the aggregate, larger size aggregate if you use, then the impact strength will be lower. If we use smaller maximum size of the aggregate, it increases the impact strength. Again, the smaller the aggregate, more will be the surface area available for the bond, more will be the bond strength, more will be the compressive strength. So more will be the impact strength. Larger size aggregate मीन्स बड़े साइज का एग्रीगेट यदि हम यूज करते हैं तो फिर क्या होगा कि उसमें लेसर विल बी द सरफेस एरिया अवेलेबल फॉर द बॉन्ड एंड लेसर विल बी द bonds, lesser will be the strength, and lesser will be the compressive strength, lesser will be the impact strength. So therefore, this is one of the factor which affects the impact strength. Also, it has been found that for having a satisfactory impact strength, for having a good impact strength, a cement of 400 kilograms per meter cube is advantageous. यदि हम सीमेंट की क्वांटिटी 400 किलोग्राम एक क्यूबिक मीटर में यूज करते हैं या इससे ज्यादा यूज करते हैं तो उसकी इम्पैक्ट स्ट्रेंथ ज्यादा रहती है ना. अब ये हम क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, व्हाई वी आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग्स, because the sometimes as a civil engineer we have to use the concrete at certain structural members like the piles, like the runway, like the concrete roads where it is subjected to impact. So at that time we should know that how the impact strength of the concrete can be increased. Okay, in that case, this knowledge of all these factors as well as the cement content, that is the 400 kilograms per meter cube, if we use more than this cement, then the concrete will have more impact strength. Okay, just keep these things in mind. Now the second strength from the point of view of the strength parameters is the tensile strength. Both the direct tension, means when the concrete member is applied to the direct tension, application of the tensile forces at both the ends and tensioning it, extending it, as well as the flexural tension, means bending, means like the beam. Like the beam, when the load is applied, the beam bends, and when it bends, the tensile force is applied and the tensile stresses are created after the bending. So is there any relation between the compressive and the tensile strength? So it has been found exactly there is no relation, again, as the concrete being heterogeneous, I have told you, and from place to place the concrete is different. We cannot say it for the steel to understand you, because the steel is, or the steel member may be a reinforcement or maybe a girder or maybe a steel beam It is made in certain factory, and its ingredients, that is the iron, is same everywhere, of which the mineral it is made. So we can say that the steel member is a homogeneous material. So its compressive and tensile strengths can be correlated. But for concrete, it is not possible. But what we can say, if the compressive strength is more, then the concrete can be good in the tension as well as impact also. But we cannot formulate exact relation between the compressive and the tensile strength. But we can say that the tensile properties are connected with the shear, because I have told you shear means the frictional resistance between the concrete ingredients. Shear failure or the shear strength means the frictional resistance between the concrete ingredients, that is the aggregate and the cement, or the cement itself, cement hardened cement paste. So tensile properties are related with the shear resistance or the shear stress, and are generated by the reinforcement, and are generated by the differential movements, means movement of the concrete ingredients after the application of the load, that is the tensile load. How the concrete members can move, can get replaced, can get move in a very micro uh, distance movement. The first is the drying shrinkage. When the concrete shrinks, means cement shrinks, then its ingredients, that is the aggregates, can move, can come close together. That is, you can say, the differential movement or the differential settlement, you can say, of the ingredients. तो इसमें टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस प्रोड्यूस होगी, क्योंकि वो पास में आएंगे तो कुछ पार्टिकल श्रिंक होना चाहेंगे, कुछ अपनी जगह पे रहेंगे, तो वो खींचातानी होगी उसमें, तो उसमें खींचतानी होगी तो डिफरेंशियल मूवमेंट होगा, तो टेंसाइल स्ट्रेसेस प्रोड्यूस होगी। तो उस टाइम में उसमें टेंसाइल कुछ प्रॉपर्टी चाहिए, देयरफॉर वो टेंसाइल प्रॉपर्टीज आर रिलेटेड टू शियर. Shear means resistance to friction, and this friction occurs due to the differential movement of the ingredients of the concrete, and this differential movement occurs due to the first is the drying shrinkage. कंक्रीट जब सूखता है, जब कंक्रीट सेट होता है, तो उसके पार्टिकल जो है वो श्रिंक होते हैं, क्योंकि सीमेंट श्रिंक होता है, सीमेंट को प्रॉपर्टी श्रिंकेज की है, जिसको वॉल्यूम चेंज बोलते हैं हम, और उसके कारण कंक्रीट में क्रैक्स आ सकती है, या टेंसाइल स्ट्रेसेस होगी तो क्रैक आती है। दूसरा कब आ सकता है कंक्रीट में टेंसाइल लोड, जब उसमें जो रीइंफोर्समेंट है, रस्टिंग ऑफ द स्टील रीइंफोर्समेंट, when the reinforcement in the concrete get corroded or rusted, then at that time also the steel which is supposed to take the tensile load, that steel if loses its tensile property, it transfers its tensile load to the concrete, and therefore the tensile stresses are produced in the concrete, and concrete is subjected to the tension. Third is the temperature gradients, means when the atmospheric temperature or the structural temperature of which the concrete is made, if the temperature varies, like the temperature varies in our region Vidarbha from 8 degrees to 48 degrees, the concrete member in our Vidarbha are subjected to the temperature gradient of 8 degrees in winter to 47 or 48 degrees in summer. So there is a temperature variation of 40 degrees. So you know, under temperature variation, how the members can get either elongated or can get compressed. Due to increase in temperature, the member will be elongated, and due to the decrease in temperature, the members, maybe of concrete or maybe of steel, will get shrinkage. Okay, swelling and the shrinkage both will happen due to temperature gradient. So tensile properties also depends on the temperature gradient of the concrete member. and many other reasons. So therefore, due to all these reasons and many other reasons like the impact load, etc., the concrete is always subjected to the tensile stresses, tensile forces. And if the concrete is not sufficient to resist these tensile loads, then it will result in the formation of the cracking, fracture, and ultimately results into the loss of the durability, because we know that the cracks in the concrete are related to the durability of concrete. So hence necessity of relation between the tensile strength and the compressive strength, though it is not existing theoretically, for the practical purposes, for that location to location, we need to decide, though we cannot find it exactly by formula. Now, how they are related, compressive to tensile strengths? The first factors, that the ratio of the two strength, that is the tensile to the compressive strength. Again, friends, try to understand the things. The ratio of the two strengths, that is the tensile and the compressive strength, is lower, means tensile strength is less and the compressive strength is more, then the ratio will be lower at the higher compressive strength. Means if the compressive strength is more of the concrete, then this ratio will be less, means its tensile strength will be less. So more the compressive strength, lesser will be the tensile strength. Thus tensile strength increases with age at a lower rate than compressive strength. Means what we can say? We know that as the concrete age increases, जैसे जैसे concrete पुराना होते जाता है, वैसे वैसे उसकी compressive strength बढ़ती है. लेकिन हमारा अभी ये नया लॉ क्या बोलता है कि टेंसाइल टू कॉम्प्रेसिव स्ट्रेंथ इज लोअर विथ हायर इन कॉम्प्रेसिव स्ट्रेंथ. तो हम इस पर से बोल सकते हैं कि जैसे जैसे कंक्रीट की उम्र बढ़ते जाती है, जैसा कंक्रीट पुराना होते जाता है, जैसे कंक्रीट की एज बढ़ते जाती है, तो उसकी कॉम्प्रेसिव स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ती है और उसकी टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ कम होती है. So therefore the tensile strength increases with age at a lower rate. यानी उसका रेट बढ़ने का रेट उम्र के साथ में कम है as compared to the compressive strength. Compressive strength is rate of gain of compressive strength is more with the time, with the age, as compared to the tensile strength. The factors which affect the relation between these two strengths, that is the tensile and the compressive strength, is the method of testing the concrete in tension. There are various methods. We will see one by one how the concrete is tested for the tension. That also depends to the relation between the tension and the compression strength. The size of the specimen, यानी जो स्पेसिमन या जो मेंबर को हम उसकी टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ फाइंड कर रहे हैं, निकाल रहे हैं या इवेल्युएट कर रहे हैं, तो उसके साइज के ऊपर भी डिपेंड रहेगा. The shape and surface texture of the coarse aggregate, again very important. The shape and the surface texture, rougher the surface texture, more will be the compressive strength, more will be the tensile strength. Again shape, conical shape, more compressive, more tensile strength. Spherical shape, lesser, and the flaky and elongated is not at all required. It nor gets the tensile nor neither gives the compressive strength. And the moisture condition of the concrete, means whether the concrete is wet or whether the concrete is dry, whether the concrete member is in presence of the water or in absence of the water. That also matters to the tensile and the compressive strength. So therefore, now how the tensile strength is found out? There are various methods to find out the tensile strength of the concrete. Either by the direct tension, this is actually impracticable method. जैसे हम लोहे को टेस्ट करते हैं डायरेक्ट टेंशन देके, you might have seen in our college we have universal testing machine which tests the tensile strength of the steel or the reinforcement. Any steel member can be elongated by applying the tensile loads, tensile forces. That test to find out the maximum tensile force against failure of that member is called as the direct tension test. So that one of the tests we can carry out if to find out the tensile strength of the concrete. But it is not used just for understanding or for theoretical stake. We are trying to understand. Okay. There are indirect tests. Those are the flexural tension, or there is another test called as the split tensile test or split tension test of the concrete. So there is no direct tension test. Though we tried to understand why it is impracticable to test the concrete by direct tension, but we can test the concrete or its tensile properties by indirect test, by the flexural tension test or by the split tension, that we will try to understand. Or maybe after this period or after this tenure of corona, you can see in your lab how the indirect test to find out the tensile strength of the concrete. So it is difficult to test the concrete in direct or the uniaxial tension like the steel, because the problem of gripping, we cannot grip the concrete member like the steel. Also the concrete is heterogeneous, it's very difficult. Also because improper, due to the improper gripping, eccentricity of the tensile load will also be there. Exactly central application of the load will not be there. So therefore, the direct tensile stress is not standardized or is not used. It is rarely used. And alternate methods of determining the tensile strength, either in flexure, that is modulus of rupture, or in indirect tension, that is the split tensile test. These two methods are used. If we use by the direct test methods, we have to use different methods which may give different results. The three methods that we can use is by the direct tension, by the split tension. I have just, we will be learning later on. The direct tension means directly applying the tensile forces. The split tension, that is the indirect method, and the flexural tension, that is again the indirect method. Direct tension is the direct method, split and the flexural tensile test are the indirect method. In if we find the tensile strength of all by all these three methods, either by arranging the gripping etc. for direct tension, then for all these three methods we may get different tensile strength of the concrete due to the application of the loads. Okay, either we may get indirect test, the stress distribution being uniform, and once the crack is formed it can propagate quickly through the section of the specimen. So indirect tension test or direct tensile stress, we may get, as you can see here from the graph, for the various compressive strength. If we find the tensile strength of the concrete, there are three graphs shown by the direct tensile test, second is by the split tensile stress, and third is by the flexural tensile strength test. Then by direct test we get lesser tensile strength. By the split tensile test method we may get more tensile strength, and by the flexural tensile strength method we get more tensile strength. Again in the wet condition and dry condition also it changes. You can see from the graph, when the concrete is dry its tensile strength is less, if the concrete is wet its tensile strength is more. Okay, this graph is between the compressive strength and the tensile strength of the concrete. So friends, in short we can say that to find out the tensile strength of the concrete we can apply three methods. We can use three test methods. The first is direct tension test. Okay, means casting the concrete member and stretching it, applying the tensile load. That is simple direct tension, as we test the steel or the reinforcement in the universal testing machine in the laboratory. Though it is impracticable, it is not practicable to test the concrete by direct tension. So therefore, there are another two methods. That is, the second method is split tension test, and the third is flexural tension test. These are the indirectly, we don't stretch the concrete member in these methods, but we apply the loads and the concrete gets stretched or tension in another way direction, and we get indirect tension properties or tensile strengths. So these three methods are there, and if we find the tensile strength of the concrete by three methods, we can plot the graph between the compressive strength and the tensile strength. We find that by direct method we get lesser tensile strength, by split tension method we get more tensile strength of the same concrete, of say M50 concrete whose compressive strength is 50 Newton per mm square. Its tensile strength is lesser for the direct test method, more for the split or indirect, and again more by the flexural tensile test method. Means of the same concrete we will get three, but what we use general methods, that is flexural and the split tension method. Okay, the various other factors which affects the tensile strength of the concrete are the influence and type of the aggregate. That is, what type, whether the aggregate is angular or the spherical aggregate, or the aggregate is flaky or elongated. That also affects the tensile strength of the concrete. We always know that we always need a crushed aggregate which has got more bond. So more bond, because crushed aggregate rough texture, more bond. So therefore more bond strength, more compressive as well as more tensile strength. Okay. Then type of aggregate therefore definitely affects the compressive as well as tensile strength of the aggregate concrete. The curing age, we have seen curing age means age of the concrete. As the concrete becomes older and older, means its age increases. As the concrete is of 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days, 7 days or 28 days of the curing age, then its compressive strength increases, its tensile strength also increases, but the compressive strength increases more rapidly or more in quantity as compared to tensile strength. So curing age is also important. Water cement ratio is 100% important. Lesser water cement ratio, more compressive, more tensile strength. Because lesser water cement ratio, lesser inherent or inborn cracks. Lesser inherent or inborn cracks, more tensile strength. Type of the aggregate, crushed aggregate, as we know. Admixtures, again chemical admixture as well as mineral admixture, pozzolana. So pozzolanic admixtures definitely increases the bond. More bond, more will be the strength, more will be the strength, more will be the compressive as well as tensile strength. So this we have seen the what is the correlation between the tensile and the compressive strength. On what factor it depends. In our next lecture, we will be learning about the next strength of the concrete, that is the fatigue strength. Okay, we have seen the compressive strength, we have seen the impact strength, we have tried to understand the tensile strength. We have seen how the tensile strength affects to the various properties of the concrete members, how it can be evaluated or how it can be found, and what are the various factors on which the tensile strength of the concrete depends. Okay, so here we will take the break, friends. We will stop here. Don't leave the class.